Hey Dan, it's Rowan from Silver Tiger Media. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Ron?
Very good. It's great to speak with you, man. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, no worries. You too. I'm glad we could do this interview together.
Absolutely. Look, I have to say, I thoroughly enjoy Long Live. It's a tremendous achievement.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoy it.
Look, indeed, yeah. Look, it's really quite diverse. When you consider Do You Know Who You Are and Revival, then moving into Heartbeats and Flatlines, what was the plan when setting down to devise this collection?
in particular, like with any album, and especially this one, like we want every song to have its own story and its own vibe and not feel like you're listening to the same song over and over again. Like we want the whole album to have, like I said, the whole album as a whole tell its story and kind of take you on a journey. Even in the sense where, like, going into Revival, into Heartbeats and Flatlines, like, just the way that transition is, we wanted the album to feel like a side A, side B kind of thing. So if you do listen to it on vinyl, it translates the same way it does on the CD, which is cool because sometimes people really want that vinyl experience. You can kind of still get that listening to our album because we have this, like, Revival intermission kind of thing. It's almost like the point where you turn the vinyl over and chill for a second before you get kicked in the balls again with the next song.
What a beautiful way to put it. That's exactly what you achieved. No two ways about it. Look, Heartbeats and Flatlines has to be my favourite track off the album. Besides being a killer song, it seems the perfect blending, at least to me, of the Curse and Congregation of the Damned. Would that be accurate from a band perspective?
In a way, I guess, yeah. Like, I feel this album for us in particular, we've kind of really come full circle. And I feel like it's, like you said, we have this element of, like, the Curse and that older style of Atreyu, but we also have this newer style of Atreyu mixed in there, too. So it's just kind of just awesome blend of a little bit of everything we've done.
Absolutely. And killer riffs, just by the way, if I can just throw that in.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Brilliant stuff. The film clip to Long Live is quite, I don't know if confronting is the right word, but it fits the track to a T. What's the message in the clip from a band perspective?
The whole thing is supposed to be about us coming back as a band, and that the only thing that was stopping us before is the only thing that could ever stop us, and it's ourselves. So it's kind of like, almost like killing off our old selves in a way where it allows our new selves to grow and become the new Atreyu, as well as also kind of this reminder that, like, we're our own, as much as we can be our own best friends and our greatest kind of, like, assistants, we can also be our own worst enemy. And so that's why in the video, like, it's basically these five guys coming to, these five demon dudes coming after each one of us and trying to kill us in a different scenario. And instead of us letting these people kill us, we won't give them the satisfaction and we do it ourselves, but we then find out that people trying to kill us are like newer self, trying to kill off the old self.
Brilliantly put. Fantastic. And as a constant band member, looking back at the past just a little ways, what led to the hiatus of 2011?
Just burnt out. We grew up in Atreyu, we graduated high school and none of us really did much time in college. We just kind of jumped on the road and started going. And because of that, we've been stuck in Never Never Land for a long time. I feel like that kind of started wearing on everybody in its own weird ways. And to where we just weren't enjoying the touring anymore. I think we all had different ideas of what direction the band should go in instead of all having the same idea of where it should go. And it's really important for any business or any band. Like, you need everyone to have the same goal and the same focus. And when all those things line up and there's that synchronicity and everybody's, doing their part, like it's this unstoppable force. It's awesome. But I think we just got to a point where that the sync wasn't there anymore. It just wasn't. Everybody was on a different page, and it was causing friction, and it just made us feel burnt out. And we just kind of, we just wanted to not do it for a while until we could do it when we were excited about it again. So it just kind of was like everybody was on the same page by the time that time came in 2010. we all knew as soon as we got off stage for the last time, actually in Australia on the Sleep Till tour. That was the last time we ever played together until last year.
Indeed, and from an outsider's perspective, you really seem to be the man with the plan to reunite. What ultimately led to you reuniting last year?
I think it was just, again, like a matter of everybody being on the same page. And I mean, I've been hitting everybody up over the years that we were off, trying to kind of re-spark it and get it going again. And I get really excited because I feel like I've got, everybody on board, and I get down to the last person and they wouldn't be on board. I'm like, ah. And then all of a sudden, a year later, I get everyone on board, including that person that wasn't on board last time. And then somebody that was on board before all of a sudden isn't now. It's like, man, come on, guys.
No.
Like, what is going on?
Let's
so
get it
after
together.
a while, finally, it's like, I don't understand, what's so difficult about wanting to just rock and roll together and tour the world and have a good time, that, everybody's in their own mental place, and it finally came to a time where everybody was ready, and, it was that last time I'd ever needed to knock on the door. This time everybody opened up and wanted to meet up, and it wasn't like we never discussed what it was we were meeting up about, but we all knew what it was. And it was just a matter of like everybody having a couple of beers and loosening up, and then it was like, all right, guys, like we all know why we're here. Let's talk about this. And quickly we could see how excited everybody was, and it just snowballed. And next thing you know, we're in the studio writing songs, and here we are doing interviews and touring the world again. So it's pretty awesome.
Magnificent stuff. And look, I hope you won't take this as an appeal to your musical vanity or anything like that, but your own contribution on this album is utterly phenomenal, and I personally believe it's better than ever. You've burst out of the break with a vengeance. Was the break desperately needed, do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel it was the last missing piece of our puzzle for us to truly feel alleviated of this weight on our shoulders of just not knowing who we all were as people outside of the band. And I think it was something we didn't realize we needed until we put ourselves in that position. And it humbled us all, and it taught us a lot about ourselves. And not even just that, it's who we are as people, who we are as musicians, and who we are, and how valuable we are as a unit once coming back together, and just seeing what that was like compared to things we've done outside of that on the hiatus. And, the collective effort of everything, especially that hiatus, it's like that's what kind of got the fire started again and got us excited again. We needed to see how green the grass was or wasn't on the other side. So that's what we did. We went looking for it and realized that, with anything, you need to have balance, and kind of our balance was off, and then we kind of threw our balance back the other way. And as much as we enjoy the things that we do outside of the band, I feel like in order for us to truly be successful and be happy, we need to have that balance and be able to do a little bit of everything that we enjoy.
Sure. What a great description too. And of course, when you came back, you were straight into playing Chain Reaction, the Aftershock Festival, and of course Knotfest. Could you feel the celebration that you were back from the crowds? Yeah,
I mean, especially the Chain Reaction show. I mean, that's the fastest we've ever sold out a show in our entire career. And for it to be our first show back, it was definitely an awesome sign that, like, wow, like, maybe people do remember us, like people do still care, and they care a lot, So it just further fueled our fire and our passion and our excitement to just want to do more and just kick even more ass, because we feel that we still have a lot of ass kicking to do.
Indeed, that's evident from this album. A Bit of Broken Memory would have to be my second favourite track from the album. What's the story behind this tremendous work?
That song was actually written, initially the start of it was written while we were in the studio recording the first three songs we recorded, which was Brothers May Live, The Day Is Done, and Reckless. Those were the first three songs we recorded, last a year from July ago, so July 2014. And, we were outside, and I started playing this kind of acoustic-y, that just had intro parts. And then Brandon came over and sat down and kind of put his input in as far as what drumming could be like and this and that. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And, we have actually footage of us writing that song. We had somebody sitting there videotaping it while it was coming together. So we kind of a cool imagery to, down the road to do a video where it starts off with us in the backyard, like playing the song on the guitar and explaining how it should go, and then right when Brandon counts it off in the backyard, all of a sudden it cuts to us playing in front of an arena full of people playing the same song. It'd just be a really powerful moment, you know.
Magnificent, it would be indeed. And if we go back a little ways, The Curse has sold over 500,000 copies. And, of course, the record sales landscape has changed dramatically in that time, the time between then and now. But this album, with Reckless, Moments Before Dawn, and Brass Balls especially, I can see it reaching the same popularity, even if that's not made manifest in sales figures. As a group, how do you gauge albums' popularity now as opposed to back in 2004?
From what I've seen, 'cause I follow SoundScans pretty closely, just because I want to know what's going on and what to compare ourselves to, and what kind of what a big band does do these days, like what that is. And I feel from what I've seen, you basically from 15 years ago, you just cut the number in half, and it's kind of the equivalent. So if you got a band that sold 250,000 records in the States, that's about a band that would do 500,000 15 years ago. So it's like you'll see, like a lot of bands in the States that, like a band like Bring Me the Horizon, like that band in the States, their latest record I think has done like just under 300,000 copies, which is 15 years ago would be decent. It's not bad, but but when you look at their ticket sales and then the shows they play, they're much bigger than a band that sold that many records 15 years ago. They're playing the crowds as if they were a gold selling artist. So that's the way I can look at it. You just take whatever the number is, 15 years ago, or take the number now, and if you double it, that's what would have been 15 years ago.
There we go. What a brilliant observation. And look, I've mentioned Brass Balls briefly, but it's definitely going to be a fan favourite. I can't wait to see you perform it live. Have you been happy with the responses to the early release of Long Live?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, with our past releases, it's always been very mixed reviews, especially on our last two albums. There's some people that love it, some people that hate it. It was all over the place. Some people that were right up the middle. This is the first time since probably The Curse that we put out an album where like the response is like just all leaning towards positive, and just people are just really excited for what we're doing, or even hearing comments like like I stopped listening to Atreyu for a while, like because I like your older stuff, and hearing this, it makes me feel like I'm 15 again, or it makes me feel like I'm listening to the Atreyu that got me so inspired and into metalcore or whatever back in the day. So it's cool to like see that like we're like starting that old fire again that we haven't had in ourselves even for several albums.
Indeed, and as you say, you've come full circle and taken everyone on the journey with you. What are the chances of this appearance next year?
We definitely have our eye on Australia. Honestly, out of all the responses that we've gotten all over the world, the Australian audience has been the most intense, most exciting audience we've played to, and especially at Soundwave, we were playing the small stage and thought that the crowd would kind of complement the small stage, and it was so many people that they couldn't fit in the area that we were playing. It was, for us, like we couldn't even believe it. Every day the crowds, it seemed like they were getting bigger and bigger, and we're like, we couldn't understand where these people are coming from. But it was incredible.
Rightly so too. I was right in front of you in the photo pit in Melbourne and just thoroughly loved it.
Oh yeah, that was the best show of the whole tour, was the Melbourne one. That was by far the most intense show we've played in a long time.
Oh, I'm glad you remember it. It was an absolute cracker. Really enjoyed it. Now, I have to ask you, do you have a favourite guitar?
Yeah, I guess. It's tough. It's kind of like say, trying to pick your favorite kid,
Yep.
I know, probably I have this, I have this ESP. It's actually an LTD that I got. It was the first guitar that ESP gave to me back in 2000, I think like 2003, maybe, 2002.
Yep.
And it was it's gunmetal silver, and I, quickly after got bored with the color and wrapped it up in this bright green gaff tape. And it's now just this really bright green zombie-looking thing. it's kind of become like one of my signature guitars. I've been playing it longer than anything else I have, and I still to this day fly it all over the world with me, and it's my favorite guitar to play. It's so comfortable, and something about putting the tape all over it, I feel like makes it even sound better. I don't know, it just gives it powers or something.
No, wonderful stuff, and we hope you'll pack it on board a plane and come out to see us in Australia again very, very shortly. We miss you.
We can't wait. We're looking forward to it.
Magnificent stuff. And look, I realise you're pressed for time. Congratulations again on the new album. It's absolutely brilliant. Just all of your sound all compressed into one magnificent creation. So well done.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Pleasure indeed. And thank you for your time today. We'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to look for you in the photo pit again.
I'll be there, fist flying. Thanks for your time, Dan.
Of course. Take it easy.
You too, mate. Take care.